Welcome to another exciting episode of the Growth Unleashed podcast, where we have conversations with founders and leaders in the wellness and fitness industry, where we explore strategies for how they unleash growth in their businesses. Today, I'm excited to have a really good friend and a very strong expert in the wellness industry, Renee Klein. Renee has been in the space for over 20 years. She spent 22 years as a vice president at Arbonne, a leading health and wellness product company. She was top 2% in the company, very strong accolades there. And she's launched from there into her own consultancy, where she started Renee Klein Expansion Consulting, where she works with leaders and CEOs one-on-one to help them identify blind spots that get in the way and get them to where they want to be. And with that, I'll introduce Renee.
Hi, Glenn. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. Love having you. Tell me a little more about your journey, 22 years at Arbonne, now launching into the consulting realm. Give us the high level of what inspired that journey and how that's been.
Thank you for asking. So, I got involved in the health and wellness space just from truly loving the products and programs that Arbonne offered because they helped me personally. And what do we do when we believe in something? We tell everyone we know. So, that's what I did. And as I was building my business, the person who had introduced me to the company said, you could keep sending people my way or you could start your own business. I started my own franchise over 22 years ago. I knew that if I was going to do it, I was going to be all in. And so within a couple of years of building that business, I promoted to the high level of vice president of Arbonne, which is the top 2% of the company. And what I've been so passionate is helping people take the next right step in their health and well-being on the product side, and on the business side, helping other leaders build their businesses based on their own goals. We all have different goals. I built that business by asking questions, helping people and helping them reach their goals through word of mouth and networking before social media was around. And so I got really involved in different masterminds. I love to take leadership roles because when I do something, I like to be all in. I really learned how to bring great leaders together. That's what landed me to where I am today, where I work with solopreneurs, business owners, and CEOs. I work with them individually. And then I also have a mastermind for CEOs here in Atlanta. I love bringing high-level thinkers together, folks with a growth mindset, people who are really open to feedback, to asking questions that might make them uncomfortable, to blind spots, because that's the only way that we level up. Each one of us has room for growth. And so I like to surround myself with people that are open to that. It has been a total blast.
That's great. And you've been doing that a few
Yes,
years now?
years. Yes.
Oh, outstanding. So tell me the jump from a product-based wellness company to a consulting company where you're not exclusively in the wellness industry, correct? I mean, you're working with CEOs, industry agnostic, right?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about what that leap was like. I'd imagine there's a lot of challenges making that leap, right?
Yeah. So it was a very natural, organic flow. When I was running my mastermind groups, they started out as leaders helping each other with referrals and how we help each other grow each other's businesses. And I found myself less interested what it could do for my health and wellness business, but I was more curious, why are people not where they want to be? What's getting in the way? What are the blind spots? And so I just got very passionate and curious about asking questions and helping people see what's possible for them and how to get there. So I've kind of married the two. If you want to think about it, it's more like healthy habits for your business, no matter what business you're in. I'm very much about accountability, taking the next right step, having a goal, and then reverse engineering how to achieve that goal. I took all of those skills from 22 years into now working in any industry. It's not about me being an expert in your industry. You're going to give me the information I need. It's about me asking you the questions that no one else is asking you to help you figure out, what do I want to accomplish? And then the brainstorming. And people need sounding boards. They need people that are locking arms with them and partner with them to help them achieve those goals. I am learning more than I ever could have imagined. I love that. If we're not, learning and growing, we're going in the opposite directions. I'm super grateful to be challenged every single day.
That's great. You mentioned something. I remember when we had coffee a year or two ago, and we were talking about the distinction between coaching and consulting. I think you nailed it right there. You're not consulting really. I mean, you're not telling them what to do. You're not showing them what to do. You're trying to bring the best out of them to coach them to do it most effectively, right?
That's correct. The difference between a consultant gives answers. And there are clients that really want that feedback. I'm not just going to throw out ideas without getting a lot of information, asking a lot of questions, asking them what they think is the next best move. In coaching, you will never give an answer. You will always help them find their way. And part of my work, it's that. But in the consulting part, especially if it's sales in an industry that I'm somewhat of an expert in, I can share experiences that might be helpful in a more consultative approach. So it really depends what someone's looking for and how I handle it.
Sure, sure. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So tell me a little about, you mentioned on several occasions, you're talking about goal setting, which is so huge. And, whether you're in health and wellness or product company or manufacturing, if you're a leader, goal setting should be pivotal to how you drive the business. Let me hear about your goals. You are a business growing right now. What are some of the goals that you've set for yourself and how are you trying to strive to hit those?
That's a great question. In my facilitation work as a coach, I work with leaders and bring them together. I have multiple groups of leaders here in Atlanta, depending on if they're owners, founders of businesses, if they're CEOs of larger organizations, if they're trusted advisors. So I have different groups that I work with. And my first goal is to build those groups out, bringing in high level, high performing, high integrity leaders. So, to do that, it's having many conversations with lots of people. I always say I'm looking for people looking for me. So I really am very discerning in whom I would invite to the group. And we have a process of doing that. So that's really a huge focus of mine as I meet solopreneurs or the owners of smaller businesses that aren't looking for the peer group. They may have that, but they're really just wanting some one-on-one support. That, is I don't have a set number that I'm looking for, but it's finding the right people. I still have my health and wellness business that I want to give 100% of my best attention to my best clients and my team. It's really having a bunch of different buckets that I try to really. I was just with a client today, an incredible CEO, and we were just talking about you can't do everything all at once, but it's all about time blocking. I'm really organized, and my goal is to be always present to the best of my ability with whomever I'm talking to or whatever I'm doing. There's a place and a time for everything to get done. We can't always do it on the same day. It's being realistic with, 90 days from now, if I were to accomplish this, how would I feel? In your business, people have weight loss goals, they have health goals. And if they started today, 6 months from now, they'd be really happy they did that. So I try to always think about where I want to be. I love 90-day blocks. I think just from a business perspective, that's a great focus. And then work our way back. What does that look like? And how do we break it down?
Yeah. No, that's great. That's awesome. It's so funny. I'm smirking and I'm laughing inside because I literally just, I have a coach. I've had a coach for years. And I literally just 2 days ago had this conversation with him about time blocking.
Yeah.
I got 3 businesses I'm juggling and only
Yes.
certain hours in the day. And it's like how, and I love what you said about being present. I mean, it's so important.
Yeah.
You have so much going on to really just figure out how you stay aligned and present in any one task.
Well, and Glenn, for you too, because it's hard when you have so many ideas.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to do a brain dump and you need to. I just did this with a client a couple hours ago, getting it all on paper. What are the things we want to accomplish? What are the dates we want to get accomplished by? And throughout the week, when can we calendar that? Very, very specifically. And it's amazing and miraculous. It all does get done. And you have to build in personal time, family time, exercise. Like I am the biggest advocate. I think one thing I bring to the table differently than any other coach or consultant is with the wellness background, healthy habits like sleep,
Mhm.
nutrition, exercise, and
Yeah.
mindfulness practices. You need that because you need to think. Leaders need time to think. So
Yeah.
where's that in the calendar? I think take a holistic approach in how I work with people.
Yeah, that's so perfect. So tell me about fast forward like a year from now, 2 years from now, where do you see Renee Klein?
I know that all my CEO groups will be full, will be on a wait list, and will really be leveling up in how our practices and our behaviors to have just the highest performing groups. I'll have a handful of coaching clients because I take the right ones. I won't work with anyone. And I'll continue to help my wellness clients in whichever capacity I can. I know that I'm a much better leader now than I was years ago. So as people are running their own wellness franchises, I'll be able to help them better. In addition to that, hopefully I'll be better at tennis, better at golf, and I'll have time for my family and to support them because that is my number one priority.
Yeah, that's awesome. You asked that question to 100 people, and many of them really just focus on one. They focus on career, they focus on professional, the job and the career. But you're right. I mean, filling a big picture of wellness and family, it's all going to be part of it. So that would be your vision of being 100% capacity, it sounds like, in the coaching business. Where are you now? What percentage would you say you are right now?
I'm probably at like 70%. I have room for more, but I'm getting close.
Mhm.
And the work to build out my groups takes a ton of time. I'm not there yet. I love to use the word yet. And I don't know if this will be helpful to anyone listening. I know where I'm going. I have a vision for what it's going to look like. And I'm not there yet, but I will get there. If you add the word yet to anything, your health goals, your parenting, anything, yet is crucial in flipping the mindset to a growth mindset.
Yeah, it's such good advice for us and for our kids and for
Yeah.
everybody. I love that one.
Yep.
So you feel like you're at 70% now. You're not there yet. You will be there at
Yep. Yep.
100%. How are you building the relationships, or how are you finding the relationships for the executives? I'm sure a lot of it's referrals, I would assume. But tell me how you're really meeting a lot of these folks that you're screening to determine if they're going to be right fit for you.
For me, I always think about how am I adding value, right? It's about adding value first. And by people having an impression, when you leave them, like how I felt when I'm with you, I always want people to leave me feeling better that they've been in my presence. I'm really focused on LinkedIn as my social media outlet. And so adding value, what are people talking about? What are some of the conversations I'm hearing? Because if we're hearing it, I'm sure other people would like to hear it. I like to address fears and hesitations, and we're all about vulnerability and transparency. If we can actually say, this is what we're talking about, people are afraid of the tariffs or the economic uncertainty. Let's not pretend that's not happening. Let's talk about that. And what are a few ways we can move forward despite the environment we're in? Adding value both in conversations, always asking questions, being curious on LinkedIn, content that pertains to the kind of leaders I'm looking for. It is referrals, especially once I've built a relationship and given people an experience of how I would be. People never forget how you make them feel talking to people in my network, sharing what I do. I believe in multiple ways to build, and you have to put yourself out there. You can't just sit behind a computer. I love the balance of in person and virtual. I love a hybrid approach. I think that's really incredible that we have that. So
Yeah,
multiple different ways. Yeah.
that's correct. So on LinkedIn, are you saying that you produce content that you put out there as
Yeah.
well, and you're active in chiming
Yeah.
in on questions, chiming in on
Yeah.
groups? I mean,
I could be better. It's something I actually just met with my marketing agency that I work with. And of course, I could be better. One thing, instead of getting overwhelmed at what I'm not doing, what I try to do and help leaders that I speak with is let's talk about what we are doing well. There's always more to do. And I keep getting better in different areas, but I'm way further. There's a book called The Gap and the Gain. I love it because the idea is to compare backwards. Most people get stuck always looking at forward, and I'm not there yet. But sometimes if we stop and look at where we started, like look where you were a year ago, look where you are today, you're like, wow, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm not where I was either. And that comparing backwards, especially you spoke about kids, they're always because of FOMO and social media and this comparison culture that we live in, we're not there yet, but if we start today taking the next right step, 6 months from now, we might be closer to our goal than we are today. So I like to focus on how far I've come and how far we've come. While I'm not an expert on LinkedIn, a couple years ago, I wasn't even on it. And so I'm happy with what I've And I'm always learning, always growing, and you can't learn it all at once. So that's
Yeah.
kind of a focus I have.
I think that's such a good mindset for any small business owner to have, especially the non-millennial business leader, because
Yeah.
it's, the social media, all the concept of content, the need for content creation and all, it's such a far, like a alien concept to us who aren't millennials, because it's just not how we grew up, and having to learn it all, it gets intimidating. So
It
I
is.
do like how you take the approach of rewarding yourself for how far you've gotten in learning it and becoming an expert in whatever area it is, versus all the different ways that you're short on that area.
Well, a lot of people have black and white thinking, and I don't. For example, AI. Everyone's heard about AI, but they haven't done much. You just have to start. I did an AI boot camp, and I have a partner in my business who's an AI expert. I'm nowhere near where she is, but she's created some incredible tools that I love and use. We don't need to be experts in everything, but we have to know how to use and stay current with technology, even though it can be overwhelming. What I try to do in any training I listen to, any podcast, any book I read, anything is like, what are a couple nuggets that I can apply to better my practice? And if I keep applying one nugget at a time, eventually I'm doing a lot of things. I didn't think I'd be using GPTs to create summaries and things like that. But now, easy peasy. So I get to focus on the person and not have to do all this background research.
Yeah.
Taking it one nugget at a time too, I think.
Well, and AI is moving so rapidly. I think some people have jumped on board and have looked at the benefits that it has added to their personal and professional lives. Other people have looked at it as an intimidation factor, that they feel like, well, it's just a little overwhelming. So
Right.
tell me a little more about those roundtables, or I forget what you just called them, but like the AI summit or roundtables that I know you and your partner have been doing. Tell me a little bit more about those.
Well, yeah. So she actually, this is a total her thing. She will bring on experts and invite our clients to them. She will let outside folks be a part of it that you can pay to attend. And it's just really helpful. I did a boot camp and it was offered through my company, through an expert in AI. And it was like a 6-week boot camp. And it started out overwhelming. By the end, I have a saying, take the best and leave the rest. I try to filter out, like, it's all great, but what am I really going to use, at least for now? And so I try to filter out the things that are just beyond my comfort zone or my scope. Yeah, and that tends to work great for me. It's not me knowing everything. I love strategic matchmaking. And what I do for a lot of my leaders, connecting them with the right people. I truly have a group of trusted advisors and experts in their field, and I have them, like, we have brought them together. And those are the people that I recommend because they're so good at what they do. And I've seen their work and I trust them completely. So it's really not only knowing your own skill set, staying in your strength zone, which you should
Yeah.
be in 80% of the time, but then delegating or outsourcing what's not your strength zone. So for me, posting on LinkedIn, I know what I want to post, but I have someone who helps me because that's not what I love doing. I need to be having conversations and being a problem solver. The other
Mhm.
stuff I can delegate or outsource. And so helping people figure out, what do I need to be doing? What can I outsource? What makes sense to be more effective and efficient?
Yeah, and it's such a high quality trait for leadership, not being the doer all the time, not being the one who's running it all, but knowing who to bring in at the right time, how to build the teams, how to glue it all together. That's such a big piece of it.
One
Yeah.
thing that some of my leaders will, I'll ask them what their superpower is. I always ask that. Really great leaders say, I would surround myself with the best of the best. You almost want to surround yourself with people that are better than you are. That is really a humble leader and servant leader. And I love that. Glenn, I ask you, what's your superpower as a leader, would you say?
Thought you would give me some time to think about it. I
Not
got
too
the
much
30
time. I
seconds.
usually put people right on the spot.
I think my superpower is connections with people. I love connecting with people. So it's something that I'm passionate about. I love leveraging those connections for my benefit as well as for everyone else's benefits to help each other out. I just love networking and building relationships. It's what I think I do pretty well in my personal life. It's something that I believe I've done pretty well in my various professional lives, because I've definitely taken a few different paths. But yeah, I would say connecting and connections. How about you, Renee? You're the guest, not me. What's your
Yeah,
superpower?
I would say probably my emotional intelligence and empathy is at an extremely high level. So I just have a sense of what people need, how to help them, and how to ask the right questions in a way that they can accept it and not be defensive.
Yeah. And knowing you as long as I've known you, I would 150%
Wow.
agree.
Thanks.
You're amazing at that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what else? Actually, let me go back one step again. We're talking about AI. I'm curious, how are you using that to further your business and how are you using AI to further your clients' businesses?
Sure.
Let me ask it a different way. What was the motivation to bring AI into your offerings?
I believe is not going to replace humans. However, humans who know how to use AI are going to be ahead of the game. It's figuring out how AI can make your job easier. Why are we wasting time on certain things? If you have an AI tool that can create it for you with the proper prompts and inputs, you have to double check it. We know all of that, but I just try to think about it being like our assistant. An AI can be our assistant in accomplishing even more and creating more time. For example, as silly as this sounds, Glenn, I coach with people every week, all week. I would be furiously writing notes. So now with AI and getting a transcript, I get to totally pay attention, ask the questions, and I'll get a summary and I can do things with that summary, but it doesn't take away from me as a human or the leader. It's just a tool. So it's really figuring out what AI tools would make you more efficient, more effective, and move faster. That's the way we think about it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's such a great perspective to take on it. And I agree with you. It's been a savior for me. Normally, I'd be taking notes and looking down, and my mind wouldn't
Yeah,
be 100% focused. But
great.
the transcripting aspect of it is
Amazing.
amazing. And there's
And
so
it's
much you can do with it. You can throw it into sales coaching tools, use it to identify hotspots. Sorry, you were about to say.
I love it. I love using it for my purpose. It's been great. I love partnering with people that are better than me in things. So
Hmm.
my partner, who's like an AI expert, creating GPTs that are great tools for us, and even with our outreach and so forth, she's amazing at that. And it's like partnering with people that are great at things you're not great at. I'm pretty good at knowing what I'm not good at. Then I bring in things that other leaders may not have.
Sure.
It's just about having a good team that's balanced.
And I look at it too of exploring what you really love and want to do and want to learn, as well
Right.
as what you have the
Totally.
capabilities to do. And if it's low on both of those and you really don't like it and you think you don't have the aptitude for it,
Like,
farm it out.
I talk about that with folks. You're supposed to work in your strength zone
Mhm.
because if you work just to be a martyr or prove something, you're going to go from not great to average at best. Is that the best use of your time? Are you working where you're born to be? I
Mhm.
try to do that and also help my leaders. What do you love? And what do you absolutely need someone else
Yeah.
doing that loves that? So it's really getting organized and thinking about your time, where you
Mhm.
want to spend it. No, we all do things we don't want to do. That's an obvious statement, but where we really spend time should be in our strength zones.
Sure. Yeah. The opportunity cost is huge. You spend a few hours working on something that's not your forte. That's a few hours you could be investing
So,
elsewhere.
Glenn, a question when I'm talking to leaders about potentially becoming a client or joining a group, I'll ask, how much time are you spending doing someone else's job or delegatable work? And we literally will figure out what is that person's hourly rate,
Hmm.
how much time they spend doing someone else's job. Or that is such a huge number that they can't afford to not delegate it out or make sure they're making better decisions. It's really important to think about that.
Typically, the work quality will be even better when you delegate it out person.
Sure.
If you could find an area to double down on your time right now, what would be to drive the business and to drive your brand and your success? Where would that be?
It's having meaningful conversations with local leaders that are wanting to level up and be around others that are growth mindset, high integrity leaders. Those conversations are really all I should be doing right now.
If you could wave a magic wand, what would you want to do in the next 6 months to propel this business forward?
If I could wave a magic wand, I would have full groups. The 4 groups that I'm a part of would be full with the most incredible leaders chomping at the bit to get better and grow and get time back for their personal lives and achieve their goals and dreams. That would be full groups with high integrity leaders. That would be my magic wand wish.
What's typically your magic wand question?
When I talk to folks, if I could wave a magic wand, what's the one area of your health or business would you want to achieve? So asking, where do you want to be?
Mm-hmm. It was awesome,
Thank you
Renee.
for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah, thank you. It was a
Goodness.
pleasure having you. I was super excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all your insights. Congrats on your career trajectory, everything you've done to go from a very successful health and wellness business with Arbonne, but still staying at the top and running the show there. But launching this new business, I think, is a super exciting opportunity for you, Renee. I think it's amazing.
I love being part of your journey.
Thank you.
Where your head is.
For the viewers out there, Renee is a good friend, and she's also a great business partner and has helped in the journey of my business as well. So I really appreciate that. Do you predominantly focus on the local Atlanta market, or do you do virtual stuff as well?
I do virtual for all my one-on-one coaching. It could be at anyone, anywhere. CEO groups, leadership groups. It's local. Yes.
Okay. So the reason I asked that is for anybody who's watching, who wants to get in touch with you, whether it's for the coaching or for the CEO groups, how can they do so?
LinkedIn is great. Glenn, you have my contact information, my email. You can shoot me a text. I'm always happy to have a conversation if I can add value, no matter what. If we end up working together or not, connecting people and adding value is my core value. I'm always happy to do that in any way I can.
Your website is?
My website is Renee Klein Expansion Consulting.com.
Fantastic. All right, Renee. Loved it. So it was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And we're off. How did it go? How did you feel?
That was are we off?
Yeah, I still record it because I like to capture all the insights from these conversations from cradle to grave. So the recording will end.
Okay.
I have somebody like a production guy who will put it into a nice format. It'll end it when it ends.
Awesome. That was great. You're so good at this. I'm so impressed.
Thanks. It's fun. I enjoy it. I really do.
I can tell you're having fun. It's awesome.
Yeah. Now, the first couple were a little nerve-wracking, but I got into a groove where I really feel...
I'm so proud of
I always feel good about... And you know, my former career in Salesforce was all about asking questions, like you were alluding to earlier. It's asking questions, diving into understanding problems and challenges and really trying to pull things out of people. So yeah, I definitely love these. How did you feel?
Great. This was so enjoyable. I'm always the one asking other questions. It was fun to be the guest.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I got to figure out if I could get Zach on here. I wonder if I could twist the topic to make it interesting to have him. He'd be fun to have out here too.
Yeah.
But good.
This was fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing it.
Soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.